Yeah, so I'm a father of three girls. Oldest is 5, youngest being 6 months. Certainly they see the world in a very different way. They are looking at the interaction of how they interact with TVs and how they interact with technology, walking up to the TV and swiping it and thinking, well, hold on a minute, why doesn't that work? You know, they look at the hands and go, well, I think my hand's broken. I've been 30 years in information technology. In the 30 years I've been involved in running up global operations for a FTSE 100 company, built architecture teams from the ground up. I've built engineering teams of 50 plus across 6 continents. And innovation is about actually thinking about how you stop the constraints of the organisation, how you stop thinking about the constraints of the industry, and how you think outside of those constraints. Things like innovation labs. I've run innovation tournaments before. Changing the way people think and changing the way people act is very key. Running the innovation tournament, I had 3 rules, really simple rules. I want no money, I want no time, and I want no constraints. So with those 3 rules, you can create some really different ways of thinking. It's a really key way of thinking about how do people engage with their work and how do people get enjoyment actually out of what they do. Yeah. I think talking about technology is a very short way to get a bad kick-off with a CEO. I think if you start talking about solutions before you even understand the problem, then that is often a recipe for disaster. I now understand your market, understand your customers, understand your current product, and I can understand where you're trying to get to. Then you can have a sensible conversation in terms of driving it forward. I think understanding the problem in a really deep way, pulling it apart, really understanding it, asking the questions about, well, how does that work and why does that work like that? I think those are really key things about getting inside the minds of the customers, and that helps you relate to CEOs and MDs. I think everyone forgets them, mainly. Everyone forgets the customer. That's most of my observations is that a lot of, particularly in IT organisations, people forget about who's using the actual product. It's actually what's your journey, how are you using it, when are you using it? Am I booking an airline flight at 2 in the morning from my bed? I don't want to get out of bed and get my credit card. I want to do it with PayPal, right? And there's a whole kind of revolution around design, what I call design thinking, which is more about ethnography, looking at customer viewpoints, looking at customer journeys. I'm very passionate about that. I think the biggest disruptors, the kind of suite of technologies broadly called AI. I think AI is playing a big part in analysing the existing market, but also being able to expose where there are opportunities in the market as well.
And putting IT people out of jobs in the future, right?
I think, so artificial intelligence is kind of labelled with a big ticket of saying it will put people out of jobs. So far, I've seen more people engage in job creation through AI than I have seen out of taking people out of roles. I think the shift is becoming to a knowledge worker instead of being a transactional worker. So there's always 4 factors. It's the people involved, the processes they operate, the tools they use, and then the technologies that actually underpin the organisation itself. The biggest one is always the people, is what capability we're trying to build, what skills do we need, who do we have, who do we need, and how do we attract them? And you have to build a brand. You have to build a brand that is about technology, it's about being part of a community, it's about being part of something that is attractive.